I've always been kind of just curious about these things. Like these are things that in my personal life, I have, existential talks, over a drink with friends of mine and stuff. And, it's, it's just fascinating because especially, you talk post-pandemic and all this stuff and how it was one thing and then it was another. And then there's so much coming at you from all different ways. I remember feeling really inundated by that and being like overwhelmed. And I always had this, like, as I was younger, I felt like I had this deep, deep desire to like know and just like have more knowledge and just understand more things. And so I threw myself into certain things, or I would start researching and reading all these things. And it's weird because they say the more you know, the less you know. And so I got to a point where I think I was like, you don't even know, like, you don't even know what you're taking in, and is it factual, and who's saying it and all these things. So it got very overwhelming. And so the idea was like very simple in that it was very simple in that, like Jaco said, like there's just no seemingly no objective truth. Was there ever? Is it now that it's different? Is, social media and the internet playing a part in that? Is it political? Who would understand the barriers of truth and communication like most? And we were just kind of like, well, somebody who would study language would obviously have a leg up on, um, you know, other people because they don't, they can understand, double speak and all these things. They can kind of pick up on multiple languages. And you look at, you can YouTube these people that can speak 30 different languages. And the weird part is they're fluent, and it's quick. They can switch in and out just like that. And I always was like fascinated by, it's almost like a superpower in a way, that us normal people just don't have. And so I think it started off as something very, very simple, and like, maybe someone who studied language, a linguist, would have a leg up in that communication barrier. And how deep is the communication barrier when it comes to, um, being honest and being truthful. But I think as we made it, as we made the story, and even physical production to where we're at today, so much has kind of changed and shifted, and, in the world, and even in our movie, that like, there's just so much you can kind of take from it. I think Yaku said
And,
it's
and if
it's
you
a
take it,
human story.
it's a year and a half. Eh? It's a period of basically a year and a half of when we shot it, but till now. So it just
Yeah,
shows you how fast things are
yeah.
are, are moving.